Imagine living a life where no one, not their rudeness, not their lies, not even their disrespect, can shake your peace. Imagine walking through the loudest room and still carrying the quietest calm inside yourself. Picture a mountain standing in a storm. The wind roars, the rain crashes, lightning tears the sky. But the mountain does not move. It does not flinch. It does not argue with the weather. It simply stands, rooted, present, unshaken. That mountain is the version of you still waiting to be built. Because most people do not live in peace. They live in reaction. One insult, one rejection, one look of disrespect, and their whole inner world starts shifting. They lose hours replaying conversations that are already over. They lose sleep rehearsing arguments they will never have. They hand their peace to people who never earned that kind of power. But it does not have to stay that way. You can become far harder to provoke. Not cold, not numb, not disconnected from life, but inwardly anchored, the kind of strength the Stoics spent their lives building. The kind of strength Marcus Aurelius needed to carry the weight of an empire without letting chaos invade his inner life. This is what the Stoics understood. Peace is not found when the world finally behaves. Peace is built when your mind stops obeying every disturbance. And modern understanding of the mind points in the same direction. What you repeatedly practice, you strengthen. The reaction you rehearse becomes easier to repeat. The pause you practice becomes easier to access. You can train your inner world. You can change how you meet pressure, disrespect, conflict, and chaos. That is not fantasy. It is discipline. It is awareness. It is emotional mastery, not the suppression of emotion, the mastery of it. In this video, we are going to build that mastery one truth at a time. You will learn how to stop giving your peace away to people in situations that never deserved it. You will see why the things that bother you most often have less to do with the person in front of you and more to do with what they awaken inside you. And by the end, you will understand what it means to respond with strength instead of reacting from old pain. If this kind of wisdom speaks to you, subscribe to the channel. It is free, it helps this message reach more people, and it keeps this work alive for those who need it. Now, let's begin. It's not them. It was never them. The first truth you need to face is one of the hardest to accept. What stings most when someone hurts you is often not what they said or what they did. It is what that moment awakened inside you. Something older, something unresolved, something that was already there before they arrived. Think about this. Two people hear the exact same insult. One shrugs it off. The other carries it for days, replaying it, feeding it, letting it grow. The insult stayed the same. What changed was what it touched inside each person. That is the part most people never examine. When someone ignores you and you feel invisible, that pain is rarely about that moment alone. It often reaches back to older moments when you felt overlooked, dismissed, or forgotten. When someone questions your intelligence and it burns, the pain may not be about their opinion at all. It may be touching an older fear that still whispers, "I am not enough." Your coworker did not ruin your morning. They revealed how quickly an old wound can still speak. Your friend's silence did not create your loneliness. It exposed a fear you may have been carrying long before they went quiet. Carl Jung wrote, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate." That is what many triggers are. Not proof that the outside world is controlling you, proof that something inside you is still asking to be seen. Every emotional reaction that feels larger than the moment, every response that surprises even you, usually points to something deeper than the surface event. And that insight changes everything. Because once you see that the disturbance is not only about them, you stop living as if your peace depends on other people behaving perfectly. It does not. Your peace becomes stronger the moment you stop demanding that the world protect every bruise you have never examined. That is why self-knowledge matters. Aristotle is often credited with the idea that knowing yourself is the beginning of wisdom. And in moments of emotional pain, that wisdom becomes practical. You begin to ask, what exactly did this moment touch? What story inside me came alive so quickly? What part of me still needs another person's approval to feel worthy? These are not comfortable questions, but they are liberating ones. Because the people who trigger you most often reveal where you are still attached, still fragile, still too dependent on something outside you to feel steady. In that sense, your triggers can become teachers. Not because the other person is trying to help you, usually they are not, but because they reveal where your inner work is still unfinished. Epictetus taught that we should concern ourselves with what is within our control. Their words, not in your control. Their tone, not in your control. Their opinion of you, not in your control, but how you receive it, how you examine it, and whether you allow it to mold your inner state, that belongs to you. So the next time someone gets under your skin, do not stop at blaming them. Look deeper. Ask what this moment awakened inside you. Because the moment you stop pointing only outward and start looking within, you stop being the passive target of other people's behavior. You become a student of your own mind. And that is where real peace begins. Rewrite the script. Here is something most people never stop to consider. You were not born knowing how to react to rejection. You were not born with a short temper, a fear of conflict, or a desperate need to be right. Those reactions were learned, absorbed slowly, repeated often, passed down through environments, relationships, and experiences until they started feeling like personality. But learned does not mean permanent. That is where your power begins. Somewhere along the way, many of us picked up hidden beliefs that now run quietly in the background of our lives. Being ignored means I do not matter. Being challenged means I must fight back. Being wrong means I'm weak. Is me weak. Being rejected means I am unworthy. These beliefs are not facts. They are scripts. And the tragedy is, most people keep living by them without ever questioning who wrote them. So the work is not just to calm down. The work is to become conscious enough to catch the script while it is playing. That is why you must learn to become the observer, not just the actor. The next time you feel anger rising or defensiveness tightening inside your chest, pause. Step back and ask yourself, what part of me is speaking right now? Is it wisdom or is it a wound? That one question can interrupt years of autopilot, because strong emotion does not always mean clear truth. Sometimes it only means an old pattern has been activated again. Look at the patterns in your life. The people change, the settings change, the details change, but the storyline often stays the same. You keep feeling dismissed, you keep feeling unseen, you keep feeling attacked, misunderstood, or not enough. Different actors, same script, and that is the giveaway. It shows you that the issue is not just what keeps happening, it is the meaning your mind keeps assigning to it. Often, underneath those reactions, there is fear. Fear of not mattering, fear of being exposed, fear of being rejected, fear of not being enough. Fear rarely announces itself as fear. It often wears more aggressive clothes. It appears as anger, pride, defensiveness, control. But beneath all of that, there is usually a part of you that learned long ago that it was not safe to be vulnerable, wrong, ignored, or fully seen. Viktor Frankl wrote, "Between stimulus and response there is a space. In that space is our power to choose. In our response lies our growth and our freedom. That space is everything. Most people miss it. They react so quickly that they barely notice there was ever a choice. But the more self-aware you become, the more visible that space becomes. And once you find it, you are no longer doomed to repeat every old pattern you inherited. That is where rewriting begins. Not in one grand moment, in small moments. The moment you catch yourself about to snap and choose silence. The moment you feel the old story starting again and refuse to feed it. The moment you realize this is not wisdom speaking. This is an old wound trying to protect itself. That recognition changes your life. Because from there, you move from being emotionally controlled to emotionally responsible. More present, more conscious, more deliberate. Not pretending you feel nothing, but no longer allowing every feeling to become your commander. This is what it means to rewrite the script, to stop living from inherited reactions and start living from chosen values. Slowly, honestly, repeatedly, until one day the calmer response feels more natural than the old one ever did. Stop getting offended. Now we need to talk about something most people never question. The moment you get offended, you have already given something away, not because the other person won, but because the instant your mind tightens, your heart races, and your thoughts start building defenses, comebacks, and imagined battles, your peace is no longer yours. You have handed it to someone else. That is too high a price to pay for another person's behavior. Aristotle wrote, "Anybody can become angry. That is easy. But to be angry with the right person, to the right degree, at the right time, for the right purpose, and in the right way, that is not easy. That is a line worth sitting with. Because it reminds you that anger itself is not always the problem. Unexamined anger is. Automatic offense is. The kind of reaction that happens so fast, you never even ask, does this deserve my energy? Here is the truth. Offense is not objective. It is not a solid fact that arrives from the outside. It is interpretation. It is the meaning your mind attaches to an event. And often that meaning says far more about your inner condition than it does about the person in front of you. That is why offense is not just an alarm. It is a mirror. It reveals which parts of your identity are still fragile, which insecurities are still active, which areas of your self-worth are still too dependent on how others see you. Most people would rather stay offended than learn from what the offense revealed. Because staying offended feels righteous. Looking inward feels exposing. But if every rude comment, every dismissive tone, and every difficult personality can pull your emotional strings without resistance, then you are not leading your inner life. You are being led. That is not freedom. That is dependency wearing emotional language. So ask better questions. Instead of, why are they like this? Ask, why did this hit me so hard? Instead of, how could they say that? Ask, what part of me still depends on their approval? Instead of, how do I make them stop? Ask, how do I become less available to unnecessary offense? Those questions change the direction of your energy. They move you from blame to responsibility, from reaction to self-command, from emotional slavery to emotional maturity. Because a person who understands their own wounds, their own pride, their own unhealed need for validation becomes far harder to provoke. Not because they stop feeling, but because they stop mistaking every sting for a truth that must be obeyed. That is where wisdom begins. You stop reacting from wounded identity and start responding from chosen values. You become slower to take the bait, slower to personalize, slower to surrender your inner balance to every passing remark. Socrates is often paraphrased to the effect that real change comes not from fighting the old endlessly, but from building the new. That applies here. Stop spending so much energy fighting every person who offends you. Start building a self that is no longer so easy to offend. A self that does not need constant validation to remain steady. A self that can feel anger without being ruled by it. That is not coldness, that is strength with discipline. Not freedom from emotion, freedom from being owned by it. The freedom to feel anger without becoming its servant. The freedom to feel hurt without letting that hurt become your identity. The freedom to walk through fire without carrying the smoke into tomorrow. That is what Stoicism teaches. That is what emotional sovereignty is. And it begins with one decision. The decision to stop letting offense govern your life. They're bleeding on you. Here is a truth that changes everything once you really see it. When someone lashes out, it is not always an attack on your worth. Very often, it is a symptom of something unresolved, unhealed, or collapsing inside them. That sharp comment from your coworker may have little to do with you, and far more to do with pressure they do not know how to carry. That coldness from someone you thought cared may not be rejection in the way your mind first names it. It may be a person drowning in their own pain, too overwhelmed to reach outward with tenderness. Carl Jung wrote, "Knowing your own darkness is the best method for dealing with the darkness of other people." And there is truth in that. The more honestly you understand your own wounds, the easier it becomes to recognize pain when it appears in someone else. And once you see that, you stop taking every wound personally, because many people are not trying to destroy you, they are trying to survive themselves. Think of the angriest person you have ever met, the tension in their voice, the bitterness in their posture, the way every word felt loaded. Was that peace, or was that pain with nowhere wise to go? Pain narrows people. It turns the heart inward. It shortens patience. It weakens empathy. It makes people say things they do not mean and do things they later regret. That is not power. That is suffering wearing the clothes of aggression. And this matters. Recognizing someone else's pain does not mean excusing their behavior. Understanding is not surrender. Compassion is not permission. You can see clearly that someone is hurting and still decide that their pain does not get access to your peace. You can say with clarity, "I understand that you are struggling, but I will not let that struggle become harm inside my life." That is not coldness. That is wisdom with boundaries. There is an old idea often repeated for good reason. Everyone you meet is fighting some kind of battle. Whether visible or hidden, it is shaping how they speak, how they react, and how they move through the world. The person who cut you off in traffic, the one who raised their voice in the meeting, the one who forgot to say thank you after all you gave. Many times they are not fighting you, they are fighting something inside themselves, and understanding that does not mean you become their rescuer. It does not mean you absorb their chaos. It means you stop personalizing what was never truly about you. So the next time someone comes at you with sharpness, pause. Take one breath and say quietly to yourself, "This is their storm, not mine. I do not have to stand in the rain." You do not need to absorb it. You do not need to fix it. You do not need to carry it home and replay it for hours. You only need to see it clearly. Their pain, their struggle, their unfinished business, not your burden to carry. Peace works the same way every habit works. It strengthens through repetition. Each time you refuse to make someone else's chaos your identity, you are training yourself into a different way of being. Not harder, not colder, clearer, stronger, less available to needless suffering. Because real strength is not always fighting back. Often it is knowing when not to enter the fight at all. It is standing firm in who you are, even when someone else is collapsing right in front of you, and that kind of strength deepens every time you choose not to inherit a storm that was never yours. Release the invisible contracts. One of the deepest sources of emotional pain is something most people never even notice. Invisible contracts. The silent agreements you wrote inside your own mind, signed with expectation and handed to other people without ever telling them. If I am kind, they should respect me. If I show up, they should value me. If I am honest, they should never hurt me. Sound familiar? These hidden contracts live beneath countless friendships, relationships, and disappointments. And often they are the reason you feel betrayed even when no promise was ever made. Because here is the uncomfortable truth. Nobody signed that contract except you. You wrote the terms, you imagined the return, and when reality did not cooperate, you called it betrayal. But many times, it was not betrayal. It was expectation colliding with reality. Life is not a vending machine. You do not insert kindness and automatically receive gratitude in return. You do not invest loyalty and guarantee that loyalty comes back in equal form. Human beings are not machines. They forget, they disappoint, they get distracted. They carry wounds, blind spots, and private burdens you do not always see. That does not always mean they do not care. Sometimes it simply means they are human. And the sooner you accept that, the sooner you suffer less from the fantasy that goodness always gets repaid on schedule. There is another layer to this, the identity contract. Your ego writes hidden rules and quietly expects the world to obey them. If I am smart, I must not be wrong. If I am successful, I should be respected. If I am good, people should treat me gently. These are not truths, they are conditions, and every time life violates one of those conditions, the ego feels attacked. Not always because you were truly attacked, but because a rule you never examined was just broken. That is why self-knowledge matters. A value is how you choose to live. An expectation is how you believe others should respond because of it. That distinction changes everything. Values give you inner direction. Expectations hand your peace to other people. When you act from values, you give because that reflects who you are. When you act from expectations, you give while quietly demanding a return. That is leverage, not love. So remove the hidden strings. Be kind because you choose to be kind. Be honest because honesty belongs to your character. Be present because presence is how you want to live. Not because you are secretly waiting for the world to repay you in the same currency. That is freedom, to give without keeping score, to care without writing silent contracts, to love without turning goodness into a transaction. And when irritation rises, pause and ask, what contract did I write in my head that this person just broke? Then ask the harder question, was it ever fair to expect that from them without making it known, or without accepting that they might fail to meet it? Those questions pull you out of resentment and into clarity. Because many disappointments are not proof that others are cruel. They are proof that reality refused to honor a rule your mind invented. If these words are landing deeply, subscribe to the channel and leave a comment sharing which lesson is speaking to you most. Your support helps this message reach people who may need these words today. Burn the mask. There is something many people wear for so long, they forget it is there. A mask. The smile that appears when you are hurting, the silence you keep when you want to scream, the confidence you project while uncertainty shakes quietly underneath. Most people did not choose this mask on purpose. It was built for survival. Built in moments when it felt safer to perform than to be seen. Maybe it was a classroom where weakness invited ridicule. Maybe it was a home where honesty was unsafe. Maybe it was a relationship where your feelings were treated like inconvenience. So the mask helped. It protected you. It helped you move through an unkind environment, and for a time it served a purpose. But then, something dangerous happened. The mask stopped being a tool and became an identity. You forgot where the performance ended and where you began, and that confusion creates a kind of exhaustion that sleep cannot fix. Because there is nothing more draining than living too far away from what you actually feel, actually believe, and actually are. You can be surrounded by people who care about you and still feel unseen, because they may be responding to the performance, not the person underneath it. And when that distance goes on long enough, anger starts to grow. Sometimes loud, sometimes quiet. Sometimes it appears as resentment, bitterness, or the ache of feeling that no matter what you do, it is never enough. Often that anger is the ego trying to protect the mask. The voice that says, "How dare they?" The reflex that takes everything personally. The need to be right, admired, or beyond criticism. That is not real strength. That is self-protection in costume. Jung wrote, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." And that becomes impossible if you never question the version of yourself you perform for safety, approval, or belonging. So ask yourself, who am I when no one is watching? What do I believe when I stop performing to be accepted? What do I actually feel when I stop editing myself for applause? These questions matter Because when you begin to burn the mask, you stop negotiating for belonging. You stop earning your worth through performance. You stop treating approval like oxygen, and you begin to live with more honesty. The key question in a heated moment is rarely, how do I win this? The better question is, what part of me feels threatened right now? That question loosens the ego's grip. It brings you out of performance and back into presence. Self-sufficiency, in the deepest sense, is not about needing nothing. It is about no longer needing constant validation to remain steady. It is emotional sovereignty. The ability to stand as yourself, without apology, without performance, and without begging to be confirmed by every room you enter. When you can face your fears, your flaws, your desires, and your uncertainty without turning away, you need the mask less and less. And what remains beneath it is someone real, someone honest, someone worth knowing. The world does not need more polished performances. It needs more people willing to live without betraying themselves. Be one of them. Rehearse the chaos before it finds you. There is a Stoic practice so powerful that it can change the way you meet an entire day. It is called premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of difficulties. And before that sounds dark, understand what it is. It is not pessimism, it is preparation. Instead of waking up and assuming everything will go smoothly, you spend 2 quiet minutes imagining what might challenge you. Today, someone may ignore me. Today, someone may disappoint me. Today, something unexpected may trigger me. And then, in your mind, you rehearse meeting those moments with steadiness, with patience, with the version of yourself you are trying to become. This is not negative thinking, it is mental training. Most people move through the day carrying invisible assumptions that people will be respectful, that plans will go smoothly, that nothing will seriously disturb them, and when reality arrives in a different form, those assumptions collapse. It is often not only the pain that overwhelms them, it is the surprise, the shock, the feeling of being emotionally unprepared. Think about a betrayal or a sudden change in someone's energy. Very often the wound deepens because you did not see it coming. Pain hurts, but surprise often magnifies it. That is why this practice matters. The Stoics rehearsed hardship not because they were afraid of life, but because they wanted to meet life without being constantly caught off guard. Pain may be inevitable. Shock is more optional than most people think. And the mind can be trained. Athletes know this. Performers know this. People who operate under pressure know this. Mental rehearsal changes how you enter the real moment. So think of yourself like a ship. A ship is not strong because it never meets storms. It is strong because it was built with storms in mind. You can build your inner life the same way. Not around the fantasy that nothing difficult will happen, but around the reality that when difficulty comes, you will know how to meet it. So tomorrow morning, before you check your phone, before the noise begins, sit still for 2 minutes. Close your eyes. And calmly imagine what may test you today, not to fear them, but to meet them first in the calm of your own mind, so that when they arrive in real life, they feel less like a shock and more like a wave you already know how to ride. That is the purpose of this practice. Not to darken the day, to steady the mind before the day begins. The sacred pause. There is something most people miss every single day, a small, nearly invisible space between what happens and what they do next. A comment lands. A tone shifts. A message arrives. The body tightens, and almost instantly, they react. So quickly that feeling and reaction seem like the same thing. But they are not. There is a door between reaction and response, and real power often lives there. Not in the fast comeback, not in the sharper insult, not in being louder, in stillness, in the strength to wait, in the discipline to pause before handing your peace away. Silence is not weakness. Very often, it is wisdom refusing to rush. This is why the pause matters. Because the moment you stop following the surge automatically, you begin to see what is actually happening. The anger, the hurt, the wounded pride, the urge to win. One breath. One beat of silence. That can be enough to reveal more than 10 minutes of arguing ever will. In that pause, you start to notice where your triggers live, where pain ends and ego begins, where something feels loud but not truly important. And that difference changes everything, because not everything that feels urgent is wise. Not everything that hurts must be answered. Not every feeling deserves a voice the moment it appears. The pause gives you discernment, the ability to ask, is this truth or just pain? Is this important or merely intense? Does this need a response or does it need one deeper breath? And there is another layer. The pause allows you to observe yourself, to step back, even briefly, and watch what is happening inside you instead of drowning in it. The next time you feel triggered, try this. Imagine you are watching a scene in a film, and the person on the screen has your name. Watch their face, watch their posture, listen to their tone, notice what rises inside them, then ask, does this person need to react right now, or do they need to breathe? Most of the time, the answer is simple. Breathe. Because what felt urgent a moment ago was not always urgent. It was just loud, and that is an important lesson. Loud is not the same as true. Intensity is not the same as wisdom. The sacred pause teaches that. At first, it feels difficult. Your whole body wants to act, to defend, to explain, to strike back, to prove something, but each time you hold the pause, you get stronger. Each time you choose not to obey the first impulse, you reclaim a little more freedom. Until slowly, pause becomes natural. Not because you stopped feeling, because you learned that feelings do not have to lead. Some feelings need expression. Some only need to be noticed, understood, and released. That is the sacred pause. A small door, missed by most. But once you learn to enter it, your whole life begins to change. Compassion is the ultimate counterpunch. Here is one of the strangest and strongest truths in this entire video. One of the most powerful responses to someone who hurts you is compassion. Not weak compassion, not naive compassion, clear compassion. The kind that sees beneath behavior and asks, what pain might be speaking here? That changes how you meet people. Because once you realize that many harsh people are carrying harsh lives inside themselves, you stop reacting to every surface behavior as if it were the full truth. The rude person, the one who cuts you off, the one who snaps, judges, dismisses, or tries to wound. Very often, they are not moving from peace. They are moving from confusion, pain, fear, pressure, or inner disorder. And when you see that, something shifts. You do not have to join their chaos. You do not have to mirror their energy. You do not have to let their pain reproduce itself inside you. That is where compassion becomes strength. Because it takes far more strength to remain soft without becoming weak than to harden the moment life provokes you. It takes strength to be kind when your ego wants revenge. It takes strength to stay grounded when another person is trying to pull you into their storm. And there is another freedom here. Let them be wrong about you, really. Let them misunderstand. Let them misjudge. Let them carry a false version of who you are, and let it mean far less than it used to. That is peace. Peace does not come from being understood by everyone. It comes from understanding yourself well enough that misunderstanding no longer feels like annihilation. Many insults only have power if you catch them. So do not catch everything thrown at you. Imagine an insult drifting toward you like a paper bird. You do not need to grab it. You do not need to study it, defend against it, or carry it home. You can let it fall, unclaimed, harmless on the floor. Think of it like tennis. Not every ball deserves a swing. And the more venom there is in it, the more carefully you should decide whether it deserves your energy at all. Sometimes the most powerful move is no move. Not because you are afraid, because you are free. Because you no longer believe that every attack deserves your participation, and that freedom rests on something deeper. Your worth does not rise when people approve of you, and it does not shrink when they do not. Your value is not unstable. It does not fluctuate with praise, criticism, or projection. So live in a way that makes you harder to manipulate. Know yourself well, stand cleanly in your character, and when you do, compassion stops being a soft idea. It becomes a form of power. The power to remain human without becoming reactive. The power to see pain clearly without inheriting it. The power to leave a storm where it began. You are not the emotion. Here is the final truth, and perhaps the most important one. You are not the emotion. You feel it, you experience it, you move through it, but you are not it. That distinction can change an entire life. Because most people do not just feel anger, they become angry. They do not just feel fear, they become afraid. They do not just feel hurt, they become wounded in identity, in posture, in speech, in action, and that is where chaos begins. So, start seeing daily life differently. Every trigger is a training rep. The coworker who interrupts you, a rep. The message you hoped for that never came. A rep. The passive-aggressive comment at dinner. A rep. Each moment gives you a chance to strengthen the part of you that can feel without collapsing into reaction. That is how emotional endurance grows. Not in theory, in practice, in repetition, in small, ordinary moments where you choose pause over impulse, awareness over autopilot, response over reaction. And yes, that practice changes you. The more often you interrupt old emotional habits, the less automatic they become. The more often you slow down, the more space you create. And in that space, freedom becomes possible. But there is something else you must understand. Not every expression is healthy. Some expression heals, some expression leaks pain. Speaking from a wound is not always honesty. Sometimes it is injury searching for a target. Wounds do not speak with much wisdom. They rush, they accuse, they exaggerate. They want relief, not truth. That is why timing matters. Before you speak from pain, ask yourself, am I still trying to win? Am I trying to sting? Is my body tight? Is my mind racing? Do I want to be understood, or do I want to make them hurt? If the wound is still speaking, wait. Wait for the wave to pass. Wait for the heat to cool. Wait until you can speak from the scar, not the cut. From understanding, not from chaos. Because words spoken after reflection usually land deeper and damage less. They carry clarity, not just force, and that difference changes relationships. Now picture emotion like a fire alarm. When it goes off, you do not panic and start smashing walls. You investigate. Is there real danger? Is this a serious fire? Or is this smoke, heat, memory, and interpretation making it feel bigger than it is? The pause helps you tell the difference. Sometimes it is fire. Often it is less than the alarm suggests. And here is another image. You are not the clouds. You are the sky. Clouds move through. Dark clouds, heavy clouds, fast clouds, storm clouds. But the sky remains. Wide, steady, untorn. Your emotions are passing weather. Your awareness is the sky that notices them. No cloud, however dark, has ever destroyed the sky, and no emotion, however intense, has the power to erase the deeper you beneath it. That is what disidentification gives you. Choice. The choice to respond, not react. The choice to breathe, not break. The choice to remain centered, even while something difficult moves through you. That is mastery. Not suppressing emotion, not pretending, not becoming cold, seeing clearly, feeling honestly, and refusing to become owned by every inner wave that passes through. That is the work. And every time you choose awareness instead of autopilot, you become a little more who you were meant to be. Now let us bring all of this together. The world will not go quiet because you found peace. People will still cut you off. They will still lie, misjudge, project, and choose ego over honesty. The point was never to control the world. The point was to change how you move through it. That is where your freedom lives. Not in demanding better weather, in becoming less ruled by every storm. Every day, you are making a choice. Not once. Not only when it is easy. Every day. Will you move through life as a reactor? Fast defensive, easily hooked, driven by wounded pride, fear, and urgency? Or will you become a responder? Slower, clearer, more deliberate, grounded in presence, not panic. The reactor burns energy on everything. The responder knows what deserves a response and what deserves to be released. The reactor replays conversations. The responder lets them pass. The reactor is ruled from the outside in. The responder is led from the inside out. That is the real difference. And when the next storm comes, because it will come, remember this. Your strength is not measured by how fiercely you react. It is measured by how deeply you remain centered. You are not here to match the storm. You are here to master your calm. If this video brought you clarity, share it with someone who needs it. Subscribe to the channel. And in the comments, tell me which lesson stayed with you most. And remember this, above all. Your peace is not up for negotiation, not for approval, not for opinion, not for someone else's momentary chaos. Your peace is sacred. Protect it, choose it, return to it every single day.